Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chadash. Double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, and I wanted to do this lesson based on Hebrew artifacts, or let's say this, Israelite artifacts found in ancient America. And there's some very popular ones that most brothers I'm sure have heard of by now, which is the Los Luna stones found in New Mexico, which is on the bottom. You have the Bat Creek stone as well as the Keystone, that's also found, I believe, in Ohio. Also known as the Ohio Decalogue stone is what you're looking at in the top right hand corner, as well as the Keystone in the bottom left, top left corner. The Bat Creek stone is right above it, right here, and the Keystone is right there, with a clear Paleo Hebrew on it, the first one. As you can see, all Paleo Hebrew. So these artifacts are found in the Americas because our people have been here since, as Great Millstone teaches, and according to history, roughly 724 BC, as I've heard the number, and based on chronological history of when the Israelites were in the Assyrian captivity, so you can use your best judgment understanding as well as the amount of time it took to journey over here. So with that being said, I have a conglomeration of pictures, a compilation of pictures, Salakia, of different artifacts that I mentioned, as well as others, and a short video that I wanted to share before I end this lesson. But before we go, any further, we always validate this with the scriptures, so I wanted to, Salakia, damn it. Salakia, that's right. What is this? We go to 2nd Ezra 13. 2nd Ezra 13 and the 40th verse, I believe. Here we go. So this is 2nd Ezra 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes. Salakia. Yeah, that's a good place to start. 2nd Ezra 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes, meaning the northern kingdom, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king of whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. So, as you can understand, this scripture is talking about once we have finished our captivity, we were in another land because we got taken out of our land. And so we're like, damn it, we don't got no fucking land. Where else the hell are we going to go? Let's get out of here, man. Let's go to the land of Ophir, land of the north, where Solomon sent, all his, he had certain heathens that he hired, as well as, I'm sure, Jake to oversee it, to go to these islands. That's why a lot of people like to say that the Olmec heads found in Mexico, the big stone heads that have so-called Negroid features, those are actually Hamites. Hamitic, not Shemitic. So you have to understand that, they'll use that statue alone just to say that all the tribes are black, but further, to continue the point, that our people knew where this land was. Continuing, this is verse 41, but they took this counsel amongst themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Esau has dubbed this world, the New World, when he was first so-called discovering it. And in the movie 1492, this Conquest of America, it's a quote in there when Christopher Columbus was talking to one of his friars or his monks, whatever it was, and they used and quoted the book of Esdras, said that the book of Esdras has truth. And they're talking specifically about these scriptures that I'm reading to you. So continuing, this is verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Little did they know, but it's all according to prophecy. So understanding that uh, the first settlers and colonialists, so-called, that went and studied the so-called Native Americans of the tribe of Gad, or whether they be Reuben or so-called Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans, Reuben, which would be the Seminoles, and then as well as, different Issacharite tribes. They all noticed one thing, that the vast majority of them still kept their dietary laws, the way they farmed, the way that they did land Sabbaths. They had feast days, they had spring high holy days. They had a lot of celebrations, which is one of the things that Esau first outlawed when he came here to the Americas. They had like, Gad had like the rain dance, the praise to the Great Spirit dance, which is them speaking a broken form of Hebrew. Because if you go into those old recordings of their chants, you'll hear Yahweh all the time, when they're, oh, yeah, like it's beautiful, man, because, we know that their spirit was crying out in their broken form of Hebrew, based on the traditions that their forefathers have taught them, because we are those people. So this is, continuing. It's a lot of information, but hey, man, there's no denying the amount of information and evidence and receipts, and more importantly, what matches up with what the scriptures say, than what our people, the Northern Kingdom, are attributed to being the so-called 10 lost tribes of Israel. They ain't lost anymore. They're found. This is verse 43. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. The same region is called Arasareth. So again, that year and a half took from going around the Horn of Africa in the southern point of the continent, all the way up to probably Chile, and bouncing all the way up to Brazil, and down to up to Central America, and then to the islands, the West Indies, all the way into the Americas, So that's where our people just settled. They said, all right, tribe of Asher, go ahead, get off at Brazil. You here you go. All right, Issachar, you're between the two burdens. Go ahead, and I guess this is you. Wait for the prophecy with the eagle and the talents, with the serpent and the talents. How they say Tenochtitlan was founded. So, our people were very spiritual and are still to this day. Except this is time we have been disconnected from our power, because the so-called white man has taken control of his name, in the sense that he gave us a false name. Not that he, can take control of Yahweh Shem Yahshua's name, but he controlled the narrative based on what the popular opinion was of the so-called truth. So the popular opinion of the so-called truth is that there should not be a single artifact that with Hebrew writing found in the Americas. Well, that is a full-blown lie, and I'm going to show you the receipts. So I have a couple excerpts. So the Batcrete stone, what you're seeing right here, was found in Tennessee. The other Decalogue stone was in Ohio. So this one that I'm going to talk about is the Bat Creek stone, and this is a little excerpt on it. This is the Bat Creek stone, found in Tennessee, discovered in 1889, initially interpreted by the Smithsonian excavator Cypress Thomas as Native American writing, specifically Cherokee syllabary. And we know the Smithsonian is very popular at hiding real historical and archaeological evidence from the public, to further continue the false narrative what the so-called dirty ass cave beast Edomite has said. This is continuing later interpreted in the 1970s by scholar Cyrus H. Gordon as Paleo-Hebrew of the 1st and 2nd century AD, supporting theories of pre-Columbian transatlantic contact. So again, and the last one is saying that it might be a forgery. My ass, man. So the next one that I wanted to go to was the Keystone, is what you're seeing here. Salakia. Where is it? Right here. The Newark Holy Stone, Keystone Decalogue Stone. This is Salakia. That excerpt, is actually for this known as the Decalogue Stone, and that image that you see is called Salaki, the image in the center is actually a representation of Moses. You see, he has the two tablets, you know, in all this Paleo Hebrew, and this is the excerpt on it. This is found by surveyor David Wyrick in or near the Newark earthworks. The keystone features Hebrew inscriptions interpreted as Holy of Holies, King of the Earth, the Law of God, and the Word of the Most High. The Decalogue stone depicts a robed figure identified as Moses and contains a version of the Ten Commandments in Hebrew. Similar to the Bat Creek stone, most archaeologists consider these artifacts to be forgeries. Of course, you fucking dirty fucking Edomite, man. So don't be surprised, because this is what he's supposed to say when he's in control and can control the narrative. You know, so as you can see, I'm going to read this little excerpt, because these are little pictures that I have, you know, based on this subject. But this is the Decalogue stone. The oldest known record of the Ten Commandments was found and is in America. Ancient Hebrew script dating from the time of Solomon. It explains perfectly why some of the tribes of what we thought were North American Indians have practices, beliefs, rituals, and languages that link them to some of the lost tribes of the Hebrews, is what it says. This is you know, very compelling evidence that you can't just ignore. You can't just ignore these things and not expect, you know, to have the whole truth if you're ignoring things like this. Okay, moving on. So, Lucky, I'm trying to get this evidence because, hey, man, this is a major. So this is the Ohio Las Lunas Decalogue stone. As a slab of basalt which appears to have the Ten Commandments written on it in Paleo Hebrew script. Paleo Hebrew is the early form of Hebrew alphabet and is similar to the Phoenician alphabet. Okay, this is the Ten Commandments, and I actually found, and the brother, the elder, Salakia Chazak from Mississippi, actually went out and visited, you know, this site right here, you know, the Las Lunas stones, and there's actually a inscription, you know, of a translation of what it says. So I highly recommend, brothers, to screenshot this picture and read it. Again, screenshot this picture and read it, because it is yapa, you know, and I don't want to spend this time to go through it, but it just goes in through the Ten Commandments. Okay, so that's another one. I got another one for you. This one is in question. I haven't been able to find too much information on this, so it, you know, it might be fake, but hey, then again, most likely, probably not, you know. But let's just keep it, for lack of better words, that there's probably many of artifacts just like this that was destroyed by the Smithsonian. So again, this picture I can't find too much information on, you know, and of course Esau's going to say everything's a forgery, but based on scriptures and history and what we've been talking about this whole lesson, we know it's not. So continuing, I just wanted to show another picture of what cartoon images or of called Quetzalcoatl, you know, and this is the fiery feathery serpent, and tell me that don't look like Yahushua carrying a cross. So again, more symbols. This has had to be found in Mexico. So I wanted to talk next real quick about the Chief Joseph tablet, and the Chief Joseph tablet was surrendered to the military and is a cuneiform tablet that is a receipt for sacrificial animals, and that's what you're looking at right here. And this receipt from sacrificial animals was actually something that Chief Joseph has said was passed down to him from generations. So I'm going to read the excerpt and the little summary on this. The AI says, this is the Chief Joseph tablet, refers to a Sumerian cuneiform tablet that was found in the possession of Chief Joseph, a Nez Perce leader, when he surrendered to the U.S. Army in 1877. The tablet, which is a receipt for the sale of a lamb, dates back to approximately 2042 BC. And that lamb could be, hey man, they're probably buying Passover lamb with that. So it was very special, you know, just, you know, through the spirit to say that, man. This is while Chief Joseph claimed it had been passed down through his family for generations, suggesting connection to white ancestors. They added that shit. I know they added that right there. You know, I had to read that quick because it made me laugh, man. You know, when I read it the first time. But see how they just try to wiggle their way in? So continuing. This origin story is not supported by historical evidence. The tablet is now in the West Point Museum. Oh, it's not supported by historical evidence? Then why the fuck is it in West Point Museum, which is the most prestigious military college in the United States? Esau just like playing games, man. You know, so again, this is another evidence to show you exactly why you need to understand these things. And as I was looking at this picture, Salaki, I'm getting excited because, man, notice what's on his handbag right here. This symbol right here. This is Chief Joseph. This is a very popular Native American Gadite symbol. But do you know what that symbol actually is? That is a idolatry symbol. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that is a representation of the sun god Utu, which is an Assyrian god. That's the Assyrian sun symbol. This is what it looked like. This is what was on Chief Joseph's bag. Again, irrefutable evidence. And you can even go into this right here. What is the Assyrian sun symbol? Right here, look at that. This is a four-pointed star with wavy lines emerging between each point. It represents the sun god Shamash and is thought to symbolize the solar calendar, blah, blah, but it's also another word is, Utu, is what they say. It doesn't matter, they're fuck they gods anyways. But it's supposed to be a sun disk, and this is a very, popular Assyrian symbol, that we have taken with us into and through these captivities. So where do we pick up these things, man? It definitely wasn't from us, man. It's because every captivity that we've been in, we have taken a part of their culture with us, sadly enough. So I have this video I want to play. This is another article that you can go into. You can just type in 800 ancient stones with Hebrew writing in Puerto Rico authenticated. So that is another one from the tribe of Ephraim. So speaking on Ephraim, this was one of the stones that was found of one of the 800. With Paleo Hebrew found on it. So speaking of Ephraim, I wanted to play this video that is been circulated amongst the brothers, but I just thought it was fitting, based on the title, to go into this. And I'm just going to let this video play, and you can see this explorer go down to this cave and see Paleo Hebrew menorahs, all types of things.
Writing. Somebody told me this was a real thing. I thought they were crazy. Loco. Then when I went down to the caves to actually check it out here in Puerto Rico, what we found was rather astonishing. Because upon closer look and examination, start to see that each continent is connected through a common language or through common characters or paleo writings or groups of writings that we find on each island. When you go down this cave, which is connected to the ocean basically, you're going to find a lot of these writings. They're going to match up with the paleo. It's absolutely wild when I started to compare a lot of these writings. They were absolutely identical to the paleo. Not the modern day Hebrew, but the original Hebrew. A whole bunch of crosses, tavs, a whole bunch of shins. Even see the character hey, where a man is holding his hands up. It's a character of a man. I could see why they don't want people to actually know their own history. Why they wouldn't want Puerto Ricans to know that they are Hebrews. Now remember, can a nation be built in a day, my friends? No, it cannot. Neither were you guys. Information, your history didn't start in 1492. Information has been around since basically almost the beginning of time. This place is so historic. That's the letter hey that I was talking about earlier. But there's Puerto Rican Hebraic
So as you can see, man, this evidence out there, man, and there's many and much more evidence out there that has been hidden or destroyed. So if any brothers want to take, screenshots or whatever as this lesson went on, Baba Gusha, use this evidence, and go into it. Amen. So I wanted to get one more scripture, and then I'm going to end this lesson out. A couple more, through the Spirit. This is Genesis 49:19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. So as we can see, man, we have been forced to really humble down, you know. Look how bad and how much Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has broken us down as a nation and taken everything, you know, because we deserved it. But you have to still understand, man, you know, we've taken our punishment. Now we need saving. And that's why it's time, you know, to take this information as, let's say you're one of those people that just got to see it to believe it. Well, I hope this lesson was explained well enough that you can at least have a seed planted to where you go do the information and studying on your own. Like I always tell people, don't believe what I say, go research what I say. But if people have cognitive dissonance when they're approached with new information, hey man, that's the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai blocking your ass from receiving understanding. So, I wanted to continue and end this lesson out with these scriptures. But this is Zechariah 2:6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord Yahweh. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord Yahweh. Deliver thyself, O Zion, which is Tazayawan, which means my monument. O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. Verse 8, one more. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, which means they took everything from us. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. Whoo! Man, imagine with the amount of power Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has, or which we can't imagine. Let me take that as a folly statement. You can't even imagine. But imagine messing with his son, messing with his daughter, messing with his people to the level that Esau, Edom raped, robbed, pillaged, and tortured all 12 tribes. Hell no, man. That's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to come and deliver the Israelites from the 12 tribes descending, you know, through their father's lineage. And in a way, the heathen also, you know, all the other people that are going to be in subjection are going to be saved from the hand of this white devil, Esau, Edom. From constantly feeding your ass with fucking microplastics, GMO, fluoridated, polluted ass fucking recycled water, parasite filled meat, fucking everything top to bottom, man. Throws off your hormones, you know, destroys your endocrine system, makes a carcinogen if inhaled, if touched, if heated up, if drank out of, you know, all of this stuff, man. That's why we need deliverance. But again, you know, not to go on a rant, I want to reiterate the information that I sent and talked about. And Lord willing, you know, brothers can use this information, you know, and run with it. You know, take screenshots, do whatever. You know, Lord willing, it was edifying unto the elect. Till next time, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Chachodash, and double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Keep pushing, keep persevering. We're almost home. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.